On January 26, 2016, Oath of the Gatewatch released for Magic the Gathering and brought with it 186 cards, including 5 reprints. It's the collectible card game's 69th expansion.
Nice.
The set is the follow-up to Battle for Zendikar and, as such, picks up roughly where the other left off, with Planeswalkers Gideon Jura, Jace Beleren, and Nissa Ravain, along with their Zendikari allies, joining forces to battle against 2 Eldrazi Titans, Ulamog and Kozilek, as well as their respective broods. To that end, the set's symbol is a stylized representation of the crown-like shapes that float atop Kozilek's head. As for the set's story itself, you're in luck, because we have a story summary for you. The enormous and imposing Eldrazi Titan, Ulamog, has been freed from the trap that had been carefully laid out to capture him, and Kozilek, another Titan, has emerged courtesy of the demonic planeswalker Ob Nixilis. In short, allied planeswalkers Gideon, Nissa, and Jace, and the rest of the native Zendikari, have their hands full. Kiora, a planeswalker Gideon recruited to assist against Ulamog, chooses to go it alone against Kozilek, while the rest deal with the other Titan. Using the Bident of Thassa that she had stolen, permanently borrowed from its namesake Theros god, the merfolk planeswalker beckoned all of the creatures of the sea to attack Kozilek. Creatures big and small, including a massive octopus called Vorthos, swarmed the Titan. But Kozilek was unfazed, even going so far as to slice Vorthos in twain. Despite her effort, Kiora found herself defeated by the Titan as she loses the Bident, it falling into the depths of the sea. Meanwhile, Ob Nixilis, who had not yet departed the plane, decided to run interference and have some fun with Gideon, Nissa, and Jace as penalty for Nissa interfering with him previously.
Would you like to hear something amusing? If you had simply let me finish my work, I would have regained my spark and left your world. I didn't choose you as an enemy, but now I feel obliged to be the enemy you deserve.
As Nixilis is having his fun with the planeswalkers, Chandra arrives. She frees her fellow planeswalkers and launches a counterattack against Nixilis. The demonic planeswalker finally departs, vowing to destroy them all, eventually. Now able to focus once more on the Eldrazi threat, the planeswalkers witness the devastation the 2 Titans have unleashed upon the land, and against Gideon's allied army, which has been all but wiped out at this point. And save for the ruined landscapes they left behind, the Titans were nowhere to be seen. Realizing that they must work together now more than ever, the 4 planeswalkers take an oath between one another, a promise to keep watch and defend against those who need defending.
For justice and peace, I will keep watch.
For the life of every plane, I will keep watch.
For the sake of the multiverse, I will keep watch.
If it means that people can live in freedom, yeah, I'll keep watch.
Oath or not, the group still had the rampaging Titans to deal with. Remembering what Ugin had told him previously about how the Eldrazi Titans were just part of a larger being or group of beings in the Blind Eternities, the realm between realms, that are manifesting on the plane much like a man's fingers manifesting in a pond when that man sticks his hand in the water, Jace deduces that they need to find a way to bring the whole entity into the plane so that it could be fully destroyed. Essentially, pulling the man into the pond by his hand, as it were. Setting a plan into action, Nissa utilizes her unique bond with Zendikar's ley lines to set a new trap, and the other planeswalkers, Jace, Gideon, and Chandra, do their best to lure the 2 Titans Nissa's way. As the Titans approach the Elven Planeswalker, the ley lines of Zendikari magic tighten around them, locking them in place, and pulling their true forms in from the Blind Eternities. The effort, however, exhausted Nissa, and she was not able to do anything more against them. The existence of the Titans' true forms on Zendikar, however, quickly began to take their toll on the plane. In fact, rather than the Titans being pulled into the plane, it felt more like the plane itself had been pulled to the Titans. Chandra offered to incinerate them and get rid of them that way, but Jace was concerned such an action would prove catastrophic to the plane. Kiora, whom was greatly disturbed as what's now happening to her native plane, and also annoyed that Jace would not allow Chandra to burn the Titans to the ground, beckoned the entirety of Zendikar's oceans to crash down upon Nissa in order to disrupt her magic and free the Titans, putting Zendikar back to normal, as it were. But Jace was able to part the crashing sea and spare the elven planeswalker. Seeing few other options, Jace changes his mind and tells Chandra to give her idea a go. Knowing she has but one chance to get it right, the Pyromancer planeswalker channels the mana of Zendikar itself into a catastrophic fireball that she sends directly towards the captured Titans. It strikes true, and both Ulamog and Kozilek are incinerated, presumably for good. The plane instantly snaps back to its new normal, and the survivors celebrate, though there is much of the plane that needs to recover and be rebuilt. Nissa gets to work, using her magic to restore the nature of her native plane. Jace, curious about the location of the missing third Titan, Emrakul, decides he should leave the plane for another, as he seeks counsel with another of the multiverse's ancient planeswalkers. As such, he travels to Innistrad to locate Soren Markov. And that does it for the story of Oath of the Gatewatch, but stay tuned as there's plenty more to mention when it comes to the actual cards themselves. With design led by Ethan Flesher, development by Ian Duke, and art direction by Jeremy Jarvis, the set was put together with three key things in mind. Colorless matters, Planeswalkers matter, and teamwork matters. As such, Oath of the Gatewatch was designed to support the game's two-headed giant format better than any set made before it.
So this is a format that's primarily played in Limited, and basically each it's a 4-player game with 2 players on each team. So you have a teammate, your opponent has a teammate, and you have a shared life total and a shared turn.
This can be seen through the introduction of a new named mechanic called Surge, which provided spells with the ability with an alternate casting cost, so long as you or a teammate of yours has cast another spell during that turn.
This encourages sort of Storm-style gameplay in in regular 2-player Magic or in a 2-headed giant game, right? Because casting more spells makes this one cheaper. So this was, I thought, a really fun mechanic, and I got to put the word teammate on the card, which was like very loudly says, "Hey, 2-headed giant. This is a format you can play, and it's a lot of fun."
The set also introduced 2 other new name mechanics in Support and Cohort. Support puts a +1/+1 counter on each of up to a specific number of creatures. Cohort is an ability word for activated abilities that requires the tapping of an ally creature along with another allied creature to do an effect. Landfall makes a return in the set, but only on 2 cards, Embodiment of Fury and Embodiment of Insight. Something else introduced in Oath of the Gatewatch is the colorless mana symbol. Within the set, it was used on cards that depict Kozilek's Eldrazi Brood. Along with the colorless mana symbol comes a new basic land, Wastes. Unlike generic mana costs, which can be paid with any color or non-color of mana, colorless mana costs can only be paid with mana that is specifically colorless. As such, Wizards of the Coast changed how a number of older cards worked with, for example, cards like Ashnod's Altar, which previously produced 2 generic mana, and Thrawn Dynamo, which tapped for 3, now producing 2 colorless and 3 colorless mana when used, respectively.
This set changed Magic forever, because now there's a colorless mana symbol.
And the problem was, we couldn't have the same symbol, because then if a mana symbol said, 1 in a circle and a blue, is that a colorless mana? Is that a generic mana? Who knows?
So we corrected the mistakes of the past and rationalized our symbols. Of course, it was a big to-do and caused a lot of repercussions in a lot of ways.
One of the cool things about this mechanic is it did this neat thing where it kind of made something kind of like a 6-color, but completely backward compatible, and that was really neat in that it allowed us to do something that would be normally hard to do in a way that, hey, there's all these cards in Magic that already do it.
Oath of the Gatewatch was made available in 16 card booster packs, with that 16th card being a marketing or token card, 5 intro packs, and a fat pack. And, like with Battle for Zendikar, an extremely small percentage of packs included a special foil Expedition card. This time around, however, rather than the fetch, shock, and check lands found in its predecessor, Oath of the Gatewatch's Expedition lineup includes 10 filter lands and 10 other lands iconic to Magic's past, such as Wasteland, Ancient Tomb, and Core Haven. In terms of cycles, Oath of the Gatewatch had only 3. Allied color tap lands at Uncommon, 3 mana allied uncommons, each of which cost 1 generic, plus 1 of each allied colored pair, that are designed as flag post cards for the block's limited environment, and enemy color uncommons, 5 uncommon creatures in enemy colors designed to define the limited archetype for those colored pairs. There is also a semi-cycle of Oath cards, which are enchantments that care about the Planeswalker card type, and represent the oath taken by each of the story's 4 main Planeswalkers, Gideon, Nissa, Jace, and Chandra. Oath of the Gatewatch also completed a mega cycle of man lands, that is, land cards that can become creatures for a cost. That begins with Shambling Vent and Lumbering Falls in Battle for Zendikar, and finishes with the addition of Wandering Fumarole, Hissing Quagmire, and Needle Spires in Oath of the Gatewatch. Of course, there are a handful of cards from the set worth a special mention for one reason or another, including Goblin Dark Dwellers, a 4/4 with menace for 5 mana, 3 and 2 red. It provides extra value by allowing its controller to cast an instant or sorcery card with mana cost of 3 or less for free as its Enter the Battlefield ability. Hedron Alignment, an alternate win condition card that cares about having a copy of the card in each of 4 different zones: one's hand, graveyard, battlefield, and in exile. Kalidas, Trader of Get, a powerful value engine that rewards its controller whenever a creature controlled by an opponent would die. Kozilek, the Great Distortion, the second iteration of the second of the 3 Eldrazi Titans, and the first to feature the new colorless mana symbol in its mana cost. Reflector Mage, a tempo card that would prove to be too punishing and game slowing in control decks. It was banned in Standard in January 2017. Sylvan Advocate, a card that was a standard staple at the time that got better as the game went along. And Warping Whale, a flexible and colorless answer card that fits in perfectly in Urzatron decks that would often otherwise struggle with interactions. And speaking of Urzatron, thanks to several powerful new Eldrazi cards that were introduced with Oath of the Gatewatch, such as Thought-Knot Seer, Eldrazi Displacer, World Breaker, Matter Reshaper, and others, a new breed of Tron decks took center stage and pretty much dominated Modern for some time, including Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch.
Simian Spirit Guide for Reality Smasher. That's the line for Luis.
All right, Luis is not messing around here.
For the Oath of the Gatewatch pre-release, the set's Teamwork Matters theme was pushed, as the Two-Headed Giant, or 2HG format, was central to the experience. While traditional 1v1 play was prevalent for it, local game stores were encouraged to also hold 2HG events as well. And, of course, those who participated received a random rare or mythic rare, date-stamped, pre-release foil promo in their pre-release packs. Other promotional cards for the set include Endbringer, the set's launch promo, Goblin Dark Dwellers, the set's Buy a Box promo, a full art Immolating Glare for game day participants, a foil full art Jory Inn Ruin Diver for game day top 8 finishers. As for Oath of the Gatewatch, as well as the whole Gatewatch Super Team story arc, one that would not so affectionately be referred to as the Justice League, a parody of the DC Comics Justice League of Superheroes, what do folks at Wizards of the Coast think of it all, now that they look back at it?
It's definitely a crazy set, and if I don't know if I would have done it the same way if I knew then what I know now, but it was pretty exciting to work on and certainly made a lot of waves.
So what are your thoughts on Oath of the Gatewatch, and just the whole Gatewatch concept overall? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and please remember to click on those like and subscribe buttons and pop a buck in our Patreon tip jar. Thanks for watching.